The time has come to spill the beans. There are a few things that have been unfolding behind the scenes that I'm really excited about. And some folks have helped with my discernment around it. I wanted to kind of keep it closer to home until it felt ready, until I had the details sorted out. But I do know enough now to be able to come forward with this announcement. This is something that has been brewing for a while, truly longer than I may be taking account for, as far as the thing that really prompted the aha moment very recently. But it's been happening for me for a while. But yeah, I definitely felt the need to change or to evolve, to broaden my horizons for some time. And I did feel uncertain, unsure about what needed to really change first. Because part of me was thinking maybe I have to pare down on some of the things I'm doing. Do I be less online? Do I be more online? The age-old question for people who are online. It's really become less of how much, really. Do I want to be on Instagram anymore? Do I want to focus on YouTube? So on and so forth. I am still going to be doing a lot of things as far as what I care about doing, as far as doing readings, having Patreon, being online. These are all still things that are going to be a part of me and what I do and my ecosystem. But there is an imbalance that I know now with better awareness that I have to correct because I have been out of balance for some time. I've been a death doula for over 11 years now. April 12th, 2015 is when I got certified. And it was really rewarding. It remains something I'm very proud and happy that I did. And it really did help to then deepen my spirituality, to help me meet new people and make other connections, deepen connections to what I know is my spirituality now, as far as how I relate to God, what do I call God, a connection to ancestors, and to a sense of building a legacy. And I don't think that I am alone in this mindset now in 2026. You do need to plan for whatever a good death could possibly be. There's been a lot of that. A big final push that really helped me have the epiphany moment that I needed, that really it stopped me in my tracks. It really happened when my husband and I went to go see Olivia Wilde's new film, The Invite. And so in a sense, I can go and thank Olivia Wilde and Penelope Cruz for this. They're not going to be watching this, but if the off chance that the algorithm happens to algorithm, thank you, Olivia Wilde and Penelope Cruz. But yeah, I laughed a lot. I cried a lot. I was so inspired by this film. I felt so much, and it really hit me. Say, I'm gonna cry now. This feels stupid. This feels so influencer. No, I can't cry. It feels dumb. Anyway, it really hit me when I was leaving the theater. I turned to look to my husband while crying like this in public because I don't care. Penelope Cruz's character in this film, Pina, really is me and what I have always wanted to be in some way. And I was really left with, like, how do I become this? And ultimately then that I knew I may not have had the word for it, it's then that I realized that I wanted to become a sexologist. And I did go and consider, do I want to go back to school to become a sex therapist? In case y'all don't know, my background was in counseling psychology as well as cultural anthropology, which is so hilariously autistic that I studied people in two different ways so then I myself could people better. But that's just the way. I did consider sex therapy as the thing to maybe move towards at the end of that road, but due to a multitude of factors and even kind of talking to a few people who are currently in that profession, I landed on maybe not doing that. It's something that I'd be very happy to get into in a Q&A because I'd love to do a Q&A around this. If anybody has any questions about the trajectory and how I'm going about doing things and the like, I love questions. So please drop them down below if you have them. I ultimately landed on pursuing a certification for offering sex coaching and consulting. And that can ultimately set me up for qualifying for ASECT. And then I could be even more qualified, really, make it very clear to the greater industry, to the world, to people that are wanting support in this way, that I am ethical, that I am trying to be trustworthy, that I really want to make sure that I am managing the boundary well, because coaching is not therapy. In case people don't know, ASECT stands for the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. And they do provide training. They have a kind of community aspect, so you join ASECT, and they really do a lot of wonderful work around healthy sexual behavior, human sexuality, destigmatizing. There's a lot of stigma, taboo, etc. that comes with this kind of subject matter, so I'm not unaware of that. But yeah, there's a question, do I or don't I? But I'm trying not to fixate on that too much right now. I'm just trying to focus on the path that I am on right now and not get too hung up on, do I do this? Do I not do this? And there is an additional cost for certifying at that level for supervision. So my coaching pathway, I could then become ASECT certified as a ASECT certified sex educator. A lot of words that I'm quickly reminding myself, like, oh yeah, these are things I remember learning about somewhat recently, or not too far in the past, enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I remember what that is. I don't want that do I do or don't I in the future to derail what I'm doing right now, because I just want to be present for everything that I'm learning and doing and open to exploring. I did try to allude to this in the beginning because I didn't want anyone to freak out. I don't want you to think I'm an Alex Reed's tarot situation where I'm like, I am not a witch anymore. I'm like, no. I am a witch. And in many ways, this feels like a very healthy way for me to ensure that I still have a personal practice. I feel like it is easier for me to be more consistent with my practice because I have a structure, I have a syllabus, I have curriculum that I'm following. So it really does help me to occupy school brain better and really think more intentionally about I have more finite time throughout the day. So let me show up for myself the way that I ought to be. So am I pouring into my spiritual well the way that I want to be? So yeah, that being said, this won't affect too much. Aside from I'll be talking about sexuality more and I'll be posting about it more. It's my intention to take you along on this journey. I've characterized this as wanting to build in public, and there's a lot in the world right now that's very black boxy. People kind of churn things out and it comes out of nowhere, and that can be jarring, or there could be this feeling of a loss of trust and seemingly out of nowhere or with little regard for impact on the communities that have been investing in them and putting their trust in them. I do also want to honor that caveat that there's nuance to everything. I am still a person, and there's not going to be me unburdening everything for the sake of I'm going to have no boundaries whatsoever. I do think that it's important to not divulge every little detail about my life. I do want to be very mindful about that parasocial aspect. I will say that this does feel like an expansion for me. It feels like a return to form for me in many ways, as far as being passionate about how I felt, being passionate about different things that I have been committed and always been one to want to demystify, to dispel confusion. I do know that I value empowering people, and I've been doing that through helping people through heavy moments, through grief-ridden moments, difficult, pivotal life transitional moments, these underworld scenarios that we all find ourselves in. And that part of me isn't going away. If anything, it's that I'm letting myself be multifaceted, dynamic. Persephone teaches us many, many things. And a big one is that she is maiden and she is the queen of the underworld. She is gentleness and ferocity. She's life and death. And I've been so death focused that it has felt flat or off kilter. And I want and deserve to be a full, whole Emmy. And I've talked mostly within Patreon about types of like trauma work and healing that I have done around certain things. And if I can do my part to help people the way that I have been helped, that feels so aligned and that feels so right. And sexuality is inherent, it's a big essential part of life. And there's also asexuality and other factors. And these are things that are still wrapped up in it that I know I've always really been passionate about. And it feels like it can't just live under the radar anymore. It can't just hang out underground the way that it has been. Every catabasis ends with an anabasis. You go down, but what do you come up and do now that you've been transformed? I feel like that's where I live right now, and I'm excited for everything that comes with that. I am doing this because I have always wanted to. I really thought about how, if I think about it, here's a good gut check for you all if you're looking for something to inspire you. I realized a good gut check question is, if this person were to no longer exist or to no longer consume your content or to no longer be in your sphere in general, going the most severe in a sense, if they died tomorrow, would you still not do that thing that you're afraid of doing? And that's something that comes up a lot in some death grief conversations, is this sense of death benefits of, now that this person is no longer here, what healing can you do? Because there is caregiver burnout, there's the caregiver shame and anxiety. It can be a very tense time, a very confusing time, because we end up making ourselves, we feel guilty, we feel bad because we shouldn't want that. But I think Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm glad that my mom died. I don't know the exact title. It's been around so long, I just see it and I'm like, oh yeah, the Jeanette book. I am notoriously bad at remembering full titles. Apologies in advance. It's been a passion of mine. I've always cared about sex education. Sexuality has always been a curiosity of mine. I don't really have like shame around talking about it or talking openly about taboo things in general. A dear friend of mine, when I talked to her about this briefly, said, "This is so 8th house of you." And that's why I love to talk to my fellow astrologers about life changes like this. Chiron entered my 8th house and I went and said, I'm going to be a sexologist the way that I always wanted to be. And sometimes things are just that perfect. There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation as well about sex and sex education overall. And it does feel very imperative to use my shame-free ability and desire to be present for people to enter this arena, because I know I will learn the things that are good for everybody to be aware of, but I will still bring my own flavor to it the way that I do with everything. And I look forward to seeing how I take to that role as I continue to step in further and further. I'm also doing this because I do believe it'll make me more well-rounded as a practitioner. The focus on ethics being very big. There's a lot of people who are throwing out the words in the witchcraft community about like, this is the grift, this is unethical. And I do agree that there are some shady things that do happen in this industry. I do know and care about being a stronger coach and leader to people. My death doula training did offer this, but it was very much within the parameters of end of life only and the logistics and laws around tending to our dead. So there was definitely that focus. I do really believe in doing better by people and for people. Being accountable to people is something that, again, in being one-on-one, being online, the more that I gain visibility, the more that I continue on this, I recognize that being with you all and having this trust be developed is something that requires attention and care that should not be taken for granted. Your trust and investment in me are not a given. I'm not entitled to it. No one's entitled to it. And I do take that very, very seriously. And if I'm going to pursue talking about sex, offering sexuality consults, I'd better do it the best way that I possibly can. And I'm really enjoying what I'm learning. I am excited for the conferences that I get to attend. I get to put together a capstone and a presentation. I get to write things and it just also nerdy. But I have my Mars in the ninth house of higher learning. I have third house placements. Again, the astrology is astrologying, and it's giving me so much to look forward to in a way that I didn't realize how much I needed until I had this aha moment. And, there's plenty that I don't know. I'm not going to posit myself as expert, at least not right now at time of filming. I am in my page moment. I am in my page of wands moment. I am letting myself be the student again. And it takes time and effort and consistency to let myself continue to step in. Just because I've been a tarot reader for 18 years does not mean, oh, you're going to be a great sexologist tomorrow. I do know it'll be a work in progress, and I look forward to being that work in progress. I know that building in public is something that's really important, and it does feel exciting. I do enjoy sharing what I'm learning, so I hope that you all enjoy that too. And I have all these different outlets for being open and for being honest and vulnerable with you all. So here we go, basically. I look forward to hearing what y'all are excited about learning or the things that I'm going to be sharing. If y'all are excited now, please tell me, because even though I feel unflappable right now, I do also feel like I'm going to get some stupid comments. That's just the way. Again, pretty used to some of that. I'm a woman of color online, so here we go. I do want to take a moment to thank you all for being here, for being with me up to this point, because every person who has worked with me in any capacity has been pivotal for this self-discovery. Every bit of affirmation that I've gotten for helping people, everybody that I've helped get their spark back, again, going through these underworld moments, everyone who's given me feedback as far as what I could improve on, because I have thought about what I could begin to do differently, how I could learn more, how I could improve, again, because nothing's a given and all of us could be better. So I do take responsibility for that. And I do want to evolve. I want to think about what I want more, about what I need, and let myself show up differently because I have to recognize that I am different. I do want to thank some additional individuals that are not just Olivia Wilde and Penelope Cruz, but thank you to Hannah Witten. I came upon her work through YouTube as during her sex and relationship education era. And I did go and work with her in a coaching capacity earlier this year. And that was so pivotal for me building upon the foundation of better listening to myself. So thank you, Hannah, for all of your help. And I am so grateful for being able to work with you that way, because I don't know if I would have gotten here without you. Thank you to Gillian Anderson for being phenomenal as Jean Milburn in Sex Education. I do watch that show a lot. That also should have been an indicator that maybe I could have done this sooner, but I had to do it when I was ready. But I've been watching the show for as long as it's been out. I have looked at her character and said, oh, that's me. I wish that was me. Again, I wouldn't be here without that frame of reference. So it does feel very full circle for me. Thank you to the Illinois Caucus for Adolescent Health, because they took a chance on me a decade ago and were recognizing my passion for sex education, for sexuality and advocacy. And it's something that I know helped me to remember that this is not new, that I've been like this for a while. And it's, again, a return to form, if anything. Thank you to the Midwest Teen Sex Show. Thank you to Meryl for being my Midwestern sex educator friend. I feel, again, very grateful for having these different pivotal points in my life that have affirmed and normalized that it's not weird or random or anything to care about this topic and to want to work with it and in it in some way. And I hope that you all will continue to stick it out with me and to see how all this shakes out. Because again, this is a part of who I am and what I'm doing. The rest will not go away. I'm not dismissing the gods. I'm not dismissing me as a witchcraft teacher, facilitator. I do know that on the other side of this, I will find and feel out what it is I want to build and create for myself that's unapologetically me. And I look forward to meeting that me when I get there. And in many ways, it's already here, but baby steps. If you're wondering how you can support me on this journey, engagement is, of course, very, very helpful because I know not everyone is in a position to just be able to churn out cash right now. Please give me your words of affirmation because I would love them, please, and thank you. If you have questions, learn something new, please tell me. Again, tipping is available through my coffee link, so you don't have to do it continuously through a Patreon subscription. It does have tuition payments, so it would be very, very helpful if you were able to chip in some way. Club Elysium on Patreon is also a great way. I have a $3 a month tier, 6 and 11, I believe. Yes, numbers. If you would like either a live or pre-recorded reading, my books are still open for the time being. I also have gift certificates available too, and referrals always help. As a heads up, I will have my books closed August 13th through Monday the 7th, and I will reopen, I'll add slots back in on Monday, August 31st. But yeah, if you do want to do a live pop-up that I'll be doing in September, that's different. That's already available in case you do want to book a one-on-one already. I appreciate all of the support, all of your curiosity as well, because I know a lot of people were like, what's happening? Now you know. Now you know. But yeah, thank you all. And I hope that you all are having a beautiful day today at time of publication or whenever you're watching this in the future. And yeah, I look forward to hearing your questions, your thoughts. If you do have like oh, it'd be wonderful you did this, I'd love to hear your reflections as well, because co-creation is really one of the pillars of how I operate. So I would, of course, love to hear what you all have coming up in your mind too, because I didn't get here alone and I certainly will make it to the other side alone. Thank you all so much and hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.